Today is day 3 of our health series, Talk to Doc. What to talk to your doctor about at each stage of life. We've covered the teens, the 20s, the 30s, and here I am, health specialist Leah Sarich, now with how there's going to be much more cancer screening in your 40s and 50s.
Yes.
Paying attention to
Paying
this.
attention, right. This is where things really get going, because it's in your 40s and 50s that your risk factors for all these big chronic diseases really start adding up. So this is what's happening at this age. So screening for these things will start now. So Dr. Raj Bardwaj says at this age, it's time to start thinking about mammograms for women and prostate testing for men.
Depending on your family history and your personal risk factors, mammograms we start doing at around age 50, maybe sooner. And same with prostate testing. We want to hit that by about age 50, if not sooner, depending on your family history and your personal risks. Remember, smoking is a big risk for all kinds of cancer. So if you haven't stopped smoking already, it's not too late. It's not too late to stop smoking. So that's a big one.
Big one, and one you can control, which is kind of nice, even though it's of course very challenging. Also for cancer screening, thinking of colonoscopies. So for the average population, age 50 or sooner, depending on your family history. And in Alberta, screening for colon cancer, it's basically the colonoscopy or a FIT test, which is a simple stool test, which you can do. And then if that stool test comes back positive, that will put you right to the front of the line to get a colonoscopy. So that's something to be aware of. The other thing to think of is sun damage and skin cancer. Right? Because of course sun damage is a cumulative effect. So over the years this has been adding up, and it's now at this age when you really need to get those moles checked. So either your family doctor can do that, or you need to be referred on to a dermatologist who will do a mole check for you. The other thing to really think about, so you're getting all this testing done, which is great.
Yes.
But you really want to make sure you follow up with all of that. That's why it's kind of nice to have your family doctor in place, as we've talked about in the earlier episodes. Get that person in place so then that there's some consistency when it comes to this follow-up, the follow-up to all of these exams. The other thing you really want to do at this age is really start advocating for yourself. So asking the questions, making sure the follow-ups and the results are coming back that you need. And then maybe, Raj suggests this, take all of those results and put them into your own file. You know, everybody's got a file for their car, right?
Idea.
Like, oh, when was the last time I had an oil change? Oh, well, it's right here. We need to do that for our health now at this age, right? So start your own personal file. And then, of course, if your doctor retires or you move, it's all right here and you can just go, here you go.
Yeah, because that stuff doesn't transfer over.
Exactly.
Ask the questions, but don't check on Google. Take it from me.
That's right.
Okay, so there's other stuff we have to start to be concerned about as well. Heart disease, diabetes.
Yeah, so these are the other two big chronic diseases that we're looking at this age. So if you haven't had your cholesterol checked before, now is the time to get your cholesterol checked. If you haven't had your sugars checked before, now is the time to make sure that these things are getting checked. Heart attacks, for example. The biggest risk factor outside of your family history, and if you smoke, is simply your age. Right? So you're much more likely to have a heart attack at this age than you are in your 20s or 30s.
But wait, there's more. It gets better.
It gets better.
Let's talk about menopause.
Right? So these are the things. Now, of course, at this age, there's things that are changing, and people aren't always comfortable talking about these things. But women really need to start talking about these things. So in our teens, we talked about how hormones were having a huge impact on our health. But now we're talking about hormones because those same hormones now are dropping off at this age. So those hormones are dropping off, and we need to talk to doctor about the symptoms.
Be afraid to approach your doctor and say, look, I think there are some changes here, you know, my periods are changing, they're more irregular. Sometimes that's enough to consider things like hormone replacement therapy. That's a very individualized decision that you'd have to go through with your doc. But it's not, menopause and erectile dysfunction aren't on and off binary kinds of things. You slide into them gradually. And depending on what symptoms you're getting as you slide into those, a lot of those symptoms are controllable. There's good medications, there's good therapies that we can use, even that aren't medical, that we can help you with.
Right? So the big thing here, Dr. Raj says, is you have to tell the doctor what's going on, because they can't help you either with traditional treatments or non-medical treatments if they don't know what's going on. So don't be afraid to talk about things like vaginal dryness for women or erectile dysfunction for men. They can't help you if they don't know what's going on. So really keep that in mind. Think of it as sort of retirement planning for your health.
That is a good idea, as my grandmother said. Aging is not for sissies.
That is right. I love it.
What's on deck for tomorrow?
So tomorrow we're taking the next step. So we're looking at 60s and 70s. So this is like cognitive decline, hearing loss, vision loss, and then about maintaining quality of life for as long as you can.
This is all great advice. More information on your blog.
You bet, on my blog.
Health specialist Leah Sarich, breakfasttelevision.ca, the way to access that.